Has it ever happened that some of your foreign friends visited you during the summer break and overstayed? How did you tackle their "I'm the guest" mode, which terribly turned from being a sweet get-together to a nightmare? And what if you found out that this newly found friend is spying on you and your family using all the information you shared with them? To your utter shock, this once welcome guest has zero ethics, and they continue to transmit your family's personal information to the outside world without using any filter per se. You will surely feel deeply offended in such a case if I'm not wrong, wouldn't you? What if I tell you that the scenario you just heard about is not fictitious, but is actually verbatim? What would be your reaction? What if someone really is around you all the time and you trust them with sensitive information, but they keep sharing that with the world? Don't bang your head against the hard wall trying to zero in upon who such a perpetrator could be. It's not someone you don't know, but someone who almost accompanies you 24/7, and half of the time you are carefully hand-holding them. Sometimes you are with them just to kill time, and mostly it's out of habit. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that this guest is becoming an addiction, despite their bad influence. Can you pinpoint who this miscreant could be? Let me share this with you. Let's FaceTime this one and find out why they are creating such trouble. Okay, so to see them, please hold your mobile phone and click on the apps in case you're an Android user. Can you please scroll a bit, reach the letter T, and read out loud the apps that start with the letter T? Tubi, the app for movies and teleshows. Check. Telegram, the chatting app. Check. Text Now, the call and texting app. Check. TikTok, the check or checkmate. Well, fellas, that's who your real enemy is. TikTok. Yes, you heard it right. The same app you spend about 4 to 5 hours at is the one that is allegedly selling out your data. Can't believe your ears, right? Well, I would say it does happen all the time. Sometimes the vice we are infatuated with starts controlling our logic and rational thinking. On this note here, let me ask you a quick question. Have you ever wondered why brand names spend thousands of dollars marketing their products? Why does it become too important for a newly launched brand to be visible everywhere the target audience is expected to come across the said brand? It is simply because they want to connect to their target group in the best possible manner. And what if this Herculean task is automatically done? Wouldn't it surprise you? That had been the marketing strategy of TikTok, the app which has a fairy tale startup theory. As reported by BBC News, TikTok's secret lies in its use of music and an extraordinarily powerful algorithm, which learns what content users like to see far faster than many other apps. As a user, you can choose from a huge database of songs, filters, and movie clips to lip sync. Needless to say, such an application attracted youth all over the globe, and within just a few years of its launch, the app saw as many as 700 million downloads in India alone. Can you recall the list of Chinese apps the government of India banned in 2021 because they were supposed to compromise users' privacy? Around the same time, BBC News reports the UK's Information Commissioner's Office and Australian intelligence agencies were probing the app but hadn't revealed what they were looking for. The global situation was tense, and the US being at odds with China over trade, Indian and Chinese forces involved in border clashes, and the UK opposing new security laws in Hong Kong, survival of TikTok became next to impossible. Moreover, as stated by the privacy policy document in the application, TikTok collects massive amounts of data, including which videos are watched and commented on, location data, phone model and operating system, keystroke rhythms when people type. Now, what every phone user must know is how location data could put a user at threat, and why the operating system of a phone makes it vulnerable. Did you know a famous Bollywood celebrity faced much embarrassment when an app recently leaked their sensitive data? Her personal life was on display for the public. Would you want to be in such a tight spot? Would you ever want to feel suffocated by your private moments going public without your permission? If not, wait for the rest of the episode and learn how to stay safe while TikToking. Hello, I'm Glenn, and you are listening to an exclusive series, TikTok Exposed, the terrifying truth. Stay tuned for more shocking revelations. Marlon Brando once said, "Privacy is not something that I'm merely entitled to. It's an absolute prerequisite." If that doesn't ring a bell, my dear friends, I'm afraid you are at a greater risk of compromising your privacy to several social networking apps such as TikTok. Over a period as its prevalence rose higher, TikTok came under the radar of constant probing by several regulatory authorities. Since data available at this social media giant is astronomical, data privacy concerns, needless to say, are thus manifold. As I mentioned in the last episode, let's explore whether data privacy concerns regarding TikTok are worth discussing. It's a universally acknowledged fact that social media and intrusion of privacy go hand in hand. Simply put, we can say that social media has never been estranged from data breaches. Before delving any deeper into the pros and cons of installing the app, let's understand how it became so popular. TikTok's launch dates back only 6 years. That is, the app was launched in 2016. Within no time, this new kiddo on the block became the lifeline of Gen Y globally due to its engaging or addictive content and marketing it to the masses. Predominantly used over a mobile phone, TikTok is an app that has gained widespread popularity, just like Instagram or Vine. From shooting a 15-second comic video of themselves, to dancing with friends and lip-syncing with comic skits to making humorous memes, TikTok is open to anything under the sun when it comes to content. The application is owned by ByteDance Ltd., a Chinese company that is the most valuable startup in the world. Currently, the value of ByteDance is approximately double that of SpaceX and quadruple that of Airbnb. Whatever you or I opine about this application, its popularity is increasing by leaps and bounds. As per research, TikTok was downloaded more than 3 billion times as of January 2022. In 2019, India was the largest consumer of TikTok, comprising 43.76% of global TikTok users. This was followed by China with 27% of users, and the US trailing behind at the third position globally with about 22% of users. Now, what majorly concerns everyone is the fact that despite having a wide range of age demographics spread over 10 to 29 years of age, there is a growing trend of adult users at TikTok. Over 5 months, starting January 2022, American adult users flocked to the app. One of the major causes of concern regarding TikTok data collection is whether their method of data collection is any different from other social media sites. If not, why can't our government see how dangerous it is to allow the application to be so readily available in times of misinformation, big data, and the Internet of Things, IoT? Hence, it is pivotal to understand the implications of what you use while navigating through cyberspace. On 29 June 2020, the usage of TikTok was banned in India. Along similar lines, citing national security as the main reason, Donald Trump also banned TikTok's operations in the USA. An executive order was passed under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, showcasing vast similarities to the May 2019 order against Huawei. Additionally, the news against Reuters reported that authorities from the Netherlands and France have also opened preliminary investigations on TikTok. What all these investigations had in common was their concern over data privacy. As per Pew Research Center, Washington, D.C., About 72% of U.S. residents had already noted that their social media activities were being tracked, and 79% of the Americans were questioning the usage of their data. Oh, by the way, I forgot to ask you all. Don't you remember the huge data fiasco alias Facebook Cambridge Analytica? Remember how furious the Facebook users were after knowing their personal data was shared without user consent to the political consulting firm Cambridge Analytica. Facebook could only get off its chest by paying an exuberant fine of US $640,000. Isn't it too obvious that if a social media tycoon like Facebook could be selling out users' data, thereby putting their privacy at stake, wouldn't other smaller platforms do the same as well? Therefore, when it comes to ranking personal privacy on a scale of 0 to 10, with respect to social media, you must always give it a big fat 0 and keep your guard up. Now, narrowing down to TikTok, the situation becomes grimmer. Let's understand this with the help of the report submitted by B. Kloss in 2022. He observed over 200 popular applications across several categories on Apple's iOS store and concluded that 2 apps collected more data than any other app. Those 2 apps were Google and TikTok. Google claims to track users' data to enhance user experience and offer customized solutions. Although this too is used for creating push notifications for Google's vast portfolio of devices, applications, and services. I read in a cybersecurity software company journal a while ago that Google can guess everything, from your marital status to how happy you are at your job. But does it not mean that Google is way more transparent in claiming that user data collected is used for internal optimization? On the other hand, TikTok is not transparent at all. To add insult to injury, TikTok allows third-party trackers to collect your data, as per an article from CNBC. Reading that report, trust me peeps, my antennas instantly shot up because the data might land in the hands of malicious people having nefarious intentions. Moreover, T. Huddleston Jr., the entrepreneur writer from CNBC, also states that TikTok collects more data than any other social media websites. Well, I deleted it. However, this might be my own personal preference, for I strongly believe that violation of privacy is a serious matter. However, to some of you, TikTok might appear seemingly harmless. Please don't go by what I or anyone else says, fellas. And please, don't forget to share your findings with me in the comments section so I can get more insights. Honestly speaking, my sole purpose for deleting the app was not just data privacy, but also my mom's nagging about TikTok. She thinks that ever since I started wasting time on TikTok, I have been hardly present at any moment. She felt my mental health or IQ was getting affected too. Well, I decided to probe deeper into this and we'll bring the findings in the next episode. It's a well-known fact that excess of anything to everything is dangerous. If one loves chocolate and starts consuming it twice daily, their sugar levels surely will dwindle and they might end up with diabetes. If one loves spicy food and keeps adding chili flakes to every meal, their liver might stop functioning normally and they might end up barfing after meals. Now, if the food choices, aka our dietary intake, affect us so much, don't you think our intake, in terms of visuals too, would significantly impact our mind? Why so? Visual memories are the strongest memories, and the human mind retains more than 60% of visual memories. Visual memory is the ability to recall what the eye has seen immediately. Therefore, we can place visual information in our memory that resembles objects, places, animals, or people as mental images. So, if a teenager is hooked on social media in general, and TikTok in particular, can you not decipher the impact, negative, it would cast over their minds? Subject matter experts on social media have warned the human race against the ill effects of social media time and over again. TikTokification saw explosive growth and its impact on young minds could scarcely be understood. Experts warned long back of the exacerbating concerns about the impact of social media on teenagers' habitual patterns and mental health. It's embarrassing that we know so little about TikTok and its effects, said Philip Lorenspring, a research scientist at the Max Planck Institute for Human Development in Berlin. Research often lags behind the industry, and this is an example of an instance where that could become a big problem, he added. It won't be an exaggeration if I say that TikTok essentially is an application for U.S. youth. What makes me think so is that U.S. teens have accounts on TikTok, with 67% saying they have ever used the app and 16% saying they use it almost constantly. TikTok majorly optimizes content for pre-stipulated durations of time, be it minutes or hours. A few documents which got accidentally leaked out in 2021 indicated this. Moreover, the company has deployed a unique algorithm and a landing page that marks the most extreme departure yet from a chronological to an algorithmic feed. TikTok is faster than other applications at detecting interest, said Mark Fidel, co-director of Tracking Exposed, a digital rights organization investigating TikTok's algorithm. This application's For You page seems to know its users' desires and interests so well it sparks memes and articles such as, "The TikTok algorithm knew my sexuality better than I did," and "Why is my TikTok For You page all lesbians?" asked the woman who is about to realize why. Although it's not going to make someone depressed overnight, still, long hours of daily consumption can seriously impact their mental health. If anything affects the children, who would understand it better than a pediatrician? Thus, we contacted Michael Rich, a pediatrician who studies the impact of technology at Boston Children's Hospital. Rich said, "It's quintessential for young minds to understand how social media usage would be too much for them. We owe it to ourselves and to the users of these platforms to understand how we are changed by the screens we use and how we use them," opined Rich. Several people believe that COVID-19 marred many developmental plans and played havoc with public health. But in the social milieu, with reference to TikTok or social media at large, one can say that it has become the only medium for teenagers to feel connected to the world. Amidst the chaos, this platform gladly transmitted their views to the world and became their only solace. Yim Register, a researcher who studies mental health and social media, said, "The largest effect of the pandemic is being faced with large uncertainty. And under uncertainty, our brains want to reduce uncertainty and make sense of the world. We want to accurately predict what's going to happen and turn to social media to sense-make collectively." The spirit of TikTok is boasting very loudly about intimate and intense things. Additionally, the application encourages one to be vulnerable to fit that vulnerability. No wonder viral videos that use wry, iconic tones to share devastating personal stories trend on the app. In short, the liberty to reveal their deepest, dirtiest secrets drives people to TikTok. Psychology says that such videos might offer momentary relief through trauma bonding. Probably in the long run, however, they lead to additional trauma. In 2020, 52.9 million Americans lived with mental illness, as per extremely trusted source. That's nearly 1 in 5 adults. TikTok has been one of the most popular social media platforms in the United States since 2018. TikTok skyrocketed to superstardom during the pandemic, with 850 million global downloads in 2020. Despite that, there are several barriers, including approachability, signifying one has zero solace or a place to turn to in an absolute state of vulnerability, or availability and affordability, meaning one is unable to shell out a certain amount of cost per session. Now, in light of the facts stated above, doesn't it seem to be posing a glaring question that if something is too catastrophic, why should we use it? Can't we guard our mental health more attentively and carefully against the false information trending around through the app? How to keep your guard up? If that's what you really wish to learn, Find out answers to all your hows, whens, and whys in the next episode. Have you ever watched a World War II-based movie on your TV or an OTT platform? If yes, did you see soldiers stepping over a landline? What happens when that happens? A blast that sends their bodies flying in all directions, doesn't it? Now, imagine if someone steps on a digital minefield. Wouldn't it affect their digital limelight, making it go dull? Now, before you ask me how it happened, let me share with you that I am talking about a minefield of misinformation. There is a huge possibility that one may trip and fall. Read privacy getting compromised or misled. Suppose one considers troubling vulnerabilities. Owing to the volume of short-form videos that are seen flooding every major platform these days. With market leaders like Facebook and Instagram, along with Google's YouTube, embracing this format to compete with rapidly growing TikTok, the risk of false claims or coming across misleading information is extremely high due to these bite-sized clips. Our community guidelines make it clear that we do not allow harmful misinformation and will remove it from the platform. A TikTok spokesperson said in a statement, "People are misled in many ways, and sometimes these don't have to be complex tactics," said Jack Brewster, a senior analyst at NewsGuard, a tool that rates credibility of news sources. NewsGuard also noted that about 20% of the videos featured on TikTok presented misinformation, although one of the key spokespersons at TikTok once clarified, "We partner with independent fact-checkers who help us assess the accuracy of the content." Yet, misinformation trends. He further added that their community guidelines make clear that they don't allow harmful misinformation and will remove it from the platform. Most social media companies have one or the other system in place in the form of AI and human reviewers to assess and thereby moderate any to every problematic content. Can you guess the name of Twitter's fact-checking tool? Any guesses? Can you make a wild one too? Birdwatch. Okay. So here you go. Twitter users leave their reviews using Birdwatch about misleading or false tweets. Isn't it better to know how difficult the scenario will be than to make mere speculations? Why work in a fog when one can act prudent and use LED searchlights? Confused? Let me put it a simpler way. Social networks usually keep removing or labeling misinformation, but the content posted online is voluminous, and no one can detect or question every false claim. Thus, one must be smart enough to distinguish black from white without overlooking grays. In order to empower the audience, various media agencies remain on the lookout to tie up with such influencers or critics who can review each piece of content. According to Alex Mahadevan, director of Poynter Institute's MediaWise project, an empowered audience is the one that critically analyzes and questions everything they watch on social media. Social media users must be able to distinguish between truth and lies. Very recently, a 40-second TikTok video featuring U.S. President Barack Obama was doing rounds over the internet about how to spread misinformation that got debunked by the fact-checkers. The clip was edited in such a way that the facts shared by Obama seemed twisted. He was seen stating, "You just have to raise enough questions, spread enough dirt, plant enough conspiracy theorizing that citizens no longer know what to believe. Once they lose their trust in their leaders, in mainstream media, in political institutions, in each other, in the possibility of truth, the game's won." Actually, Obama said those words at Stanford University in April, while mentioning the tactics used by authoritarian regimes, including Russia, to spread disinformation. That video probably can be the best example of how the tide can be turned against someone as influential as the ex-president, using only spinning of the comments. On social media, one might create a perspective shift with only a few tweaks in the audio that depict the users riffing each other off by manipulating the original sound or visuals and changing them with a blatant lie. On social media, individuals are shown saying, doing things contrary to their character, stature. For example, In a decorated video at TikTok in U.S. Rep., a Republican from Wyoming, Liz Cheney, is seen mentioning a bid for the White House in 2024, accompanied by Hillary Clinton. This was posted in August, and the phrase that got contorted the most remained, "Holy hell!" What Cheney is seen mentioning goes as, "Hillary and I both have one thing in common. We both have bigger balls than Donald Trump. Plus, our hands are a lot bigger too." On the contrary, although Cheney accepted she's thinking about a presidential run and has spoken out against Donald Trump, but she didn't announce a run for the president or use the phrase she is seen saying in the video. TikTok surely is an application that needs to be constantly weighed upon a scale of credibility. Why people generally believe videos featured on the app, or simply because actions speak louder than words. During the Russian-Ukraine war, what disturbed the users majorly were videos featuring audio of gunshots and blasts, making the ones who saw believe that they were witnessing scenes of invasion. And with such a huge amount of visual information, fake, floating around, it's too difficult for the users to distinguish between what's factually correct and what's not. Furthermore, how often do we come across someone who would stop by any video and would care to verify its authenticity? And how many of us would care to ascertain whether the picture we came across in social media is true? This, therefore, is a game that can get too dirty at times to be handled. Still, if you wish to learn how to distinguish between truth and lies, let's start questioning everything we see around us, including every single video we come across and the number of hits and views. Stay tuned to understand how influencers affect users' choices concerning social media. Do not get befooled by anyone who has a huge fan following. Data can be spiked up. Stress, fear, anxiety, mental health issues, cutthroat competition, dark secrets, hatred, jealousy, anger management issues, PTSD, and many more. What do you feel when someone utters one or two or a few of the above emotions? Does it make you feel uncomfortable? Do you get antsy at the mere mention of competing with your peers 24/7? If your answer to these questions is yes, you, my friend, are not at all cut out to be a social media influencer. Don't even think about being too kind-hearted or empathetic. If compassion and humanity are your synonyms, kindly don't even think about being someone whose only aim is to increase their followers. Well, as you already know, social media is the trickiest path one could ever tread on, and to top it off, if you have an addiction, it's going to be even more tedious for you to handle the situation. Oh yes, one more thing. If you are an introvert, or if you have a shade of life that you don't want others to know, abstain from social media in general, and TikTok in particular. Believe it or not, TikTok influencers make a living by sharing their lives with millions of followers. Before going any further, let's understand who an influencer is. A social media influencer is someone who has established credibility in an industry and can influence their followers' decisions because of their relationship with their audience and their knowledge and expertise in a particular area. He has access to a huge audience and can persuade others to act based on their recommendations. It wouldn't be wrong if I said that social media influencers constantly are under surveillance of their followers. Each and every move of theirs is captured by their followers, and most of them are even recreated at whatever scale is feasible by the followers. However, that's not all. If an influencer ever posts anything which their followers don't like, a brutal backlash is just around the corner. None of the mistakes get spared under any circumstance. Surprisingly, many kids in the US, UK, or other part of the world want to become a vlogger or a YouTuber as per a survey conducted in the year 2019. The sample size of this survey was 3,000 children aged between 8 to 12. In an opening interview with Insider, one of the most famous influencers having 14.7 million youngsters following, Alex Warren, a Hype House member, confesses living his dream childhood aged 20. Undoubtedly, being an influencer remains a dream for many youngsters in the United States. Alex Warren is not alone. All those who have enjoyed the digital limelight suffer in some way or another, and their biggest fear sprouts up from rejection. The D'Amelio's show, Dixie, has over 50 million followers on TikTok, says she struggled with suicidal thoughts following negative comments on a vlog she filmed for Vogue. Her sister Charlie said, she feels like she's getting canceled simply for being alive, and shut down production following a distressing interaction with a paparazzi. At one point, she says she's suffering from what she describes as constant anxiety attack over the past 4 years. Social media is addictive, is a fact, but it fetches along an immense potential to earn as well. As per Forbes, the highest paid influencers on TikTok brought home a collective $55.5 million in 2021, a 200% increase from the previous year. They've signed deals with Netflix and Hulu, performed at Madison Square Garden, hit the Billboard's pop chart, and one has even written a book. As I've been constantly sharing with you, social media can be pretty negative sometimes, especially in terms of toxicity. The Wall Street Journal 2021 published a report about the development of eating disorders or worsening the existing ones. To that, TikTok immediately responded through an announcement to test its algorithm changes to prevent a steady stream of problematic content. It also stated that TikTok is exploring whether its system recommends content that could have a negative effect if that's the majority of what someone watches, such as content about loneliness or weight loss. Self-harming tendencies in teens are reported to rise based on self-comparison videos they watch on TikTok. According to Influencer Marketing Hub, micro-influencers on TikTok earned $25 to $125 per sponsored post in 2021. A mid-tier influencer with 50,000 to 500,000 followers earned upwards of $125 to $1,250 per post. Social media influencers constantly boost their country's economy by creating cash flow for said industry. For example, a female influencer might create a new market for a herbal cosmetic product line within no time, making it reach out to a larger size of TG. Thus, these influencers are marketing tools and relationship assets with whom many brands collaborate to achieve their marketing objectives. Influencers can be classified into multiple categories depending on their subject and expertise. However, the most common method to categorize influencers is by the number of their followers and/or content types alongside the influence level, although sometimes they are also divided by the niche in which they operate. For example, many celebrities turned mega influencers have a lesser real-time influence on their audience because their expertise in a niche might be narrow. Micro and nano influencers significantly impact their followers in their special niche. Isn't it thus too difficult to infer how much is too much, especially for the kids? It's quintessential for us to safeguard the kids from becoming vulnerable, but how to do that is an art. I would love to explain subtle ways of urging kids to use social media judiciously and to keep it minimal. Let's explore that in the next episode. Till then, have a great day. Hey, honey, where's Alex? Asked a middle-aged man from his wife who was preparing breakfast at the kitchen counter. I don't know. He's probably still sleeping. Please check out his room, chirped the woman. I'll get him. Upon arrival, this man sees his 14-year-old son lying on the bed, sweating profusely. The latter is probably seeing a troubled dream. Alex, what's up, my boy? He comes to his son. Dad, what are you doing here? I mean, what brought you to my room? Why? Can't I even come to your room now? Come on, let's go down and grab some breakfast. Alex holds his dad tight, looks into his eyes, nods, and sighs. Coming in too. While entering the kitchen, the father thinks of calling his best friend from school and discussing his teary-eyed teenager, who is getting timid with each passing day. Hey Sean, it's Peter on this side. Good time? Hey man, of course it is. How come the business tycoon is calling a mere psychologist today? Asked Sean. Need advice. Shoot. It's about Alex. He's getting quieter every day. Can you please help me infer the reason? Isn't Alex 14 already? Yes, he is. Does he eat well? Rarely. Is he watching his phone mostly? How do you know? Hours? More like 8. There you are. That is the major cause of aloofness and being quiet. Any medicine or advice? Yes. Social media detox. And it's now that the real problem starts, because finding the cause of aloofness was still easier than the execution of a psychology expert's advice will ever be. Why? Mainly because there's no parental control available on the app Alex usually spends his time on. And that, fellas, can be a major bummer for many parents whose children are addicted to TikTok, the new age vice. Jaslyn Halpin, doctor of psychology from Washington Behavioral Medicine Associates, thinks that TikTok is dangerous to young minds. He said, social problems based on personal values and ethics impacted by social media users have also been found. However, data is limited. Causation is yet to be established. Personal factors impacting positive and negative outcomes are unclear. And long-term impact is yet to be fully studied, given that social media use and related research is relatively new. Furthermore, Halpern believes inappropriate content might slip through despite parental controls that TikTok claimed are in place. This can occur mainly due to a lack of technical know-how among most parents. In my opinion, all social media platforms must have a disclaimer in bold letters that although the platform has given parental control access, everything can be filtered. That means what A finds okay for their kid, D, might appear offensive to B, and vice versa. There are ripe chances that children using TikTok will be exposed to wrong information, potentially upsetting things, harmful content, and/or traumatizing events, even with parental monitoring and careful use. Thus, usage is at the user's own risk. So far during this show, I have warned you all against excessive social media usage. However, like everything else under the sun, social media also has a positive side. One may use it for interacting over their interests, learning a new hobby, promoting their creations, sharing playful content, posting educational videos, mobilizing social issues, establishing a sense of identity, learning about other cultures, and so on. Positive content is empowering. Did you notice how educational and entertaining social media became during the pandemic? Well, that's mainly because social media was everyone's only connection to the outside world during the pandemic, and it brought solace during a phase of forced isolation and fear. Although social media has the capacity to empower the youth, it still can be a ticking time bomb when it comes to sexualization of human bodies. And as we all know very well, that certain things which are kept hushed around kids interest the most. Therefore, the over-sexualization of children by social traditional media, in general, is a long-standing concern, particularly for females. That, coupled with a lack of understanding amongst teenagers mixed with fear, thereby casts negative impacts on them, given that young minds might fall prey to online predators as well. Therefore, everyone must exercise caution while using social media apps. When it comes to children and their safety, every parent becomes super conscious and remains on alert mode. While reading through a few blogs last week, I came across many moms worried about their daughters getting addicted to TikTok. I remember one anxious mommy, Trisha Cuthbertson, told NBC News that her daughter's friend had downloaded TikTok onto her daughter's phone to post their videos. However, Just within 1 hour, she had 20 followers. All of them were men, and they all started making inappropriate comments. One of the technology firms, Motherboard, ran an investigation on TikTok and reported that a large community of adult users of the app solicited nude photos from teenagers. Some of those users had even sent explicit videos to children. Well, not only does the safety threat become a severe issue, but also the desire to gain popularity overnight is extremely consuming. Teens set up social media accounts to stay connected with their peers. However, within no time, they find themselves participating unconsciously in the mad rat race of how many likes they get. And to do so, private accounts become public for the simple thrill of gaining strangers' approvals. Hopefully, you can understand how infatuating this whole numbers game can be and how swiftly one gets drifted away from just for fun to greedy for likes. Like cigarettes or alcohol, every vice starts with one puff or one sip and goes a long way. Similarly, teens keep getting hungrier for likes and shares, and stunts keep getting pulled up. However, if you really wish to quit your vice, namely addiction to TikTok, you must check out the workable tips I'm going to share in the next episode. We wake up to the blaring of our alarm clock every morning, switch on the coffee machine like a zombie, clean up, sip coffee amidst fixing breakfast, change to work clothes, put the coffee in a takeaway paper cup, and leave home for the day. On the road, either hop onto the train or a taxi and reach work. Focus on multiple assignments at work and return home extremely tired. While fixing a quick dinner, we start scrolling over social media platforms and land at TikTok. A particular video appears delightful and seemingly catches our attention. It leaves us a little dopamine hit at the very center of our brain, and we keep scrolling down. We keep scrolling and lose track of time. Well, that's how it starts. This seemingly harmless scrolling becomes a habit with no time, and mostly it's irreversible. Psychologically speaking, just by watching video content, feel-good neurochemicals, including dopamine and serotonin, are released by the brain. Furthermore, if a TikToker gets a like comment, share, or follow, it releases the same feelings of euphoria. With time, their brain starts relying on this sort of stimulation to induce pleasure, and that's when one needs more and more TikTok videos to feel the same rush of excitement. The most alarming thing about this situation is that for most of us, TikTok is a harmless distraction from our routine monotony. But for others, it might become as addictive as cigarettes or alcohol. I'm sure most of you now know how fatal it is to get addicted to social media platforms in general, and TikTok in particular. I am still feeling like reiterating, even at the cost of repetition, that TikTok puts the user at the following risks. 1. Reduced attention span. At TikTok, truckloads of information are available, but the time of consumption is low. As a result, the attention spans of users are reduced with each passing video. 2. Poor performance. Due to spending long hours on the application, most teenagers these days are left with zero time for completing their homework and assignments. That, in turn, causes their performance to deteriorate and their grades to suffer. 3. Deviation of interest. These teenagers find themselves sandwiched between the pressure of increasing the fan base and creating shareable content. As a result, their own hobbies or interests get sidelined. Number 4. Excess screen time. A recent survey stated that an average teenager in the U.S. spends about 2 to 7 hours per day on social media. The screen time thus gets increased due to witch tussles between family and friends occur. Number 5. Fitness suffers. With increasing screen time, one's fitness suffers because spending long hours on these applications directly affects their eating habits. While watching short videos, one mostly tends to binge eat. That may lead to obesity. 6. Mental health and well-being. In comparison to those who don't use TikTok too often, regular users feel anxious and feel stressed out and depressed due to disturbing content. Now, if you feel like anyone near you is addicted to TikTok, do not panic. As promised in the last episode, I'm hereby sharing a few handy tips for helping your loved ones to quit. A. Create a connect. Start asking them what solace they get at TikTok. Try to understand their perspective as a friend rather than being an authoritarian who simply tries to impose their orders over their children or students. B. Zero judgment. A child or a teenager would surely connect well with someone who wouldn't judge them. Share a rapport with them so that they possess a greater trust in you and open up. C. Set realistic targets. Nothing in this world is constant. Everything changes for the better. So do vices change too? Thus, do not expect your child to stop using TikTok overnight. Reduce the time instead and set a realistic timeline for them to stop using the application slowly and gradually. As a parent, one must understand that nothing can be stopped immediately. One must plan for change. Gradual yet steady change is good than abrupt ones that might backfire. And before penning down the rules for your child, don't forget the golden rule of self-practice. Additionally, identify if your son or daughter is behaving strangely or not. If yes, please be alert. They might have been bullied in their digital space. Protect them, but in a gentle way. Let them feel safer, stronger, and cared for than feeling insecure. Stay tuned to learn how to counter digital bullies. I will unveil the ways to stay stronger and bolder than you ever were. If being in the digital limelight is what gives you a kick and your happiness is directly proportional to the number of people who follow you on social media, be ready to be targeted by social media bullies. If your online presence is a must for your mental peace or gratification, there's a certain price you got to pay for it. Cyberbullying is prevalent among all age groups, and one must always remember that no place online is safe. Furthermore, cyberbullies always look forward to bullying soft targets like teenagers or children. If you feel you or any of your near or dear ones is being a victim of cyberbullying, always be alert. Look out for the warning signs, including ever-rising anxiety, physical discomfort, avoiding everyone, especially limiting social interaction and mood swings. As a TikToker's parent who always enjoys posting on this site, you should always be keen to know what they will share. Share your personal experience with the app with them. Always remind your teen that difficult situations will get easier if we both navigate together. Most bullies employ the same tactic. Hatred is spewed out generally in the follower comments on TikTok. A few toxic people out there insult TikTokers directly in a quite obvious and hurtful manner, whereas a few others will post fairy comments, which initially sound like compliments but actually are quite mean. Needless to say, such veiled attacks cause damage as much as caused by blatant cruelty. Whatever we get to know remains unverified unless we see certain evidence. Similarly, facts do not feel established till figures back them up. This proves the fact that cyberbullying gets meaner by the day. Anna Tang, a 17-year-old, has almost 11,000 followers on TikTok as @Ann.a. She says she too has unfortunately experienced it. Anna initially started filming her dances to have fun, but that quickly turned into harassment, with strangers leaving mean comments on her videos. Although Anna still enjoys making TikToks, she considers the platform a toxic place to be at because people there tend to speak with no filter. She further confirmed that it all starts with fairy comments, a trend where the audience leaves insulting remarks disguised with hearts and star emojis. Although she always tries to put on a strong front, somewhere deep down she gets extremely affected. What appeared to be the most shocking thing to her was how the hate spewer comments got plenty of likes. It felt like these comments were validated by others, said a pained Anna. Another teenage TikToker, Claudia, 19 years old, at Baby Claudia X, shared that it is normal to be harassed on the platform and it's advisable to get used to it. Claudia has over 140,000 followers, yet she feels more peaceful while posting videos from another not-so-popular account with only 13,100 followers. Recalling a particular incident, she got sad because those bad memories were still etched in her mind. I was fat-shamed after posting a dance video, and it was exacerbating when an influencer whom I refused to name joined in, said Claudia. Despite their efforts in hatching, visualizing, and presenting ideas on the app in the form of videos, TikTokers feel depressed mainly because body shame is so rampant on the platform. And creators become antsy when no one stands up for them against hate mongers. People instead choose to side with the haters. I witnessed such an incident when I encountered a young girl whose eyes were slightly further apart. People spared her no mercy and went to the extent of using filters to make fun of her face. The girl received so much hate from the strangers that she switched to private mode. And that honestly was a pain because, in my opinion, the most unfair type of bullying is when it's over something that a person who posted can't change about themselves. If cyberbullying becomes a nuisance in your personal life too, please remember the following few things. I'm sharing certain tools with you that are very much present in the app and offer better privacy and control. Using these, you can be sure of having deployed a great line of defense against negativity and harassment. Additionally, one can ascertain who has access to their account. Number 1. Switch to a private account. Make sure that the TikTok account you want to protect is private. Young teenagers under 16 majorly use TikTok, so those profiles are automatically private for the sake of protection. The default, however, for people over 16 is a public profile. Yet a user can switch their account to private whenever they want. Number 2. Allow direct messages. At TikTok, you can use the privacy settings and allow direct messages only from the people you can trust. Similar options for the duet and stitch features can be used so that fun collaborators don't end up in cyberbullying. Number 3. Filter out haters. Remove those who are constantly spewing hate. Create a filter for weeding out comments including offensive keywords and phrases you dislike. Although it's a well-known fact that social media users are prone to cyberbullying, platform irrespective still, it's advisable to use all the tools possible and safeguard your privacy and mental health. Always report the trespassers who get through protection with the intent to cause harm. Having said that, let me reiterate that cyberbullying is never the victim's fault. Always remember that. Now, having explained the tools, I have to wrap up this episode, but stay tuned to your favorite show because we are bringing the impact of TikTok on society in the next episode. During the boredom and isolation of the pandemic, Diana Valdez turned to TikTok. Diana is a hobbyist turned chef. Most of the recipes she has curated are from her inheritance from her granny. Diana worked at a pub at the Dadeland Mall, Florida, at night to manage her expenses during her university days. Most of her friends, therefore, kept urging her to post her creations on TikTok. But her pastry shop at Madison Avenue never spared her any leisure. But in 2020, during the lockdown, Diana got the much-awaited break. She felt this was a blessing in disguise and wholeheartedly focused on TikTok videos. I thought I'd have fun, post some videos, so I baked a red velvet cake, posted it, and dozed off. I woke up the next day and my cell phone was just blowing up with notifications. Every time I refreshed it, I noticed the viewer numbers increasing in the thousands per minute. The 22-year-old recounted to Today. With no time, Valdez got 125,000 followers and amassed 10 million plus likes for her videos. From baking pastries to making cookies, vegan and gluten-free, her videos explained everything in detail ranging from product reviews and vignettes of her daily life. Diana has always wanted to be an entertainer since childhood, and TikTok opened that door for her. Diana began getting requests for sponsored posts for brands earlier this year. One of the market intelligence firms, Sensor Tower, reported global downloads of TikTok surged from 200 million in the last quarter of 2019 to more than 300 million in the first 3 months of 2020, when the pandemic saw consumers drawn to their mobile devices more than ever. Needless to say, TikTok's rapid rise forced its competitors to catch up and introduce similar features. In July, therefore, Facebook tweaked its algorithm for sending out content to users that were uniquely personalized to them, reported Meta, the parent company. The application to allow users to share short-form videos is the brainchild of a Chinese tech firm, ByteDance. Launched in China in 2016 as the Douyin app, before it was launched internationally a year later as TikTok. After conception and launch, the app didn't become big instantly. TikTok only got bigger in 2017 when Musical.ly, another application from China, acquired ByteDance for $1 billion. It was this acquisition that led TikTok to prominence. Additionally, this association with Musical.ly allowed 80 million users of the app based in the United States access to the functionalities of TikTok. TikTok's rise thus was meteoric, and by the time the pandemic hit in 2020, even Facebook Messenger got knocked off its global position, as TikTok became one of the best mediums to connect to the world virtually. Despite its global reach and widespread popularity, TikTok has been misused a lot. People abuse the application by creating fake accounts, plotting scams, and fusing in adult content. One of the major reasons TikTok has gained traction is the ease with which this application can be used to harass others. If we talk about the impact of TikTok on society, timelines matter greatly. During the pandemic, for example, TikTok helped everyone to stay connected. Participatory engagement remained a theme of the application at crucial stages of the pandemic. TikTok initiated more challenges, like Dance Challenge, Family Fun Photo Challenge, Who Wins the Dollar Challenge, etc., than Instagram or Facebook. This brought families together at a time when families were forced to be in isolation. TikTok surely had a competitive edge over other social media apps, as it brought forward an idea that helped families to bond well using fun elements. The user's experience, UX, of the application is manipulative. It is designed to keep users glued to it, and that happens mainly because of its ability to trigger compulsive use. It mainly targets the most impressionable audiences, like teenagers, compromising their privacy. It will not be an exaggeration to say that TikTok works at the theory of maximal consumption. That means the app has an inbuilt mechanism that infers what a particular user is watching and pushes the related content up. Video content which is at autoplay is visible at the endless scroll. That serves all age groups and strata of society. Hence, what you see once or twice gets listed at the back end as the user's preference, and related content is pushed up. TikTok understands the dynamic well and supplies exactly what you want. Every society functions with certain rules. For example, workplaces demand undivided attention and silence. To enable users to watch videos even at the respective workplaces, therefore, TikTok videos have subtitles so that one may easily watch them at the workplace or at any place where sound cannot be played, but engagement with content can. And it does. Is TikTok here to stay or not? Is it possible that short-form video content will stay here forever? It's hard to predict whether TikTok will thrive or fail. But let's explore the option in the next episode. Do you ever try to think ahead of time? Do you ever think about how your life would be 10 years later? Do you ever think of upgrading to a Rolls-Royce 5 years down the line? Do you have any plans for the future? Or do you plan how the future is going to be? If you think of these things, let's talk about the future of social media in general and TikTok in particular. It is a universal truth prevalent with respect to the technology sector that an algorithm knows us way better than we know ourselves. Did you know that your computer can predict whether you have a change of job in your mind, or are you planning to walk out on your relationship, leaving your partner? With only 1,000 words that you write, it can predict your age. And this omniscience gets far more accurate and closer to the truth with the TikTok algorithm. If one can believe, TikTok has reportedly helped users even to discover their sexuality and let go of their childhood traumas. And the magic unfurls here because TikTok predicts everything for you surprisingly without you sharing any personal information with the app. In Mashable, Jesse Joho mentioned that TikTok is reading your soul like some sort of divine digital oracle, prying open layers of your being never before known to your conscious mind. Do you think such a functionality can go out of trend ever? No, I can't. And that is the answer to whether TikTok is here to stay or not is yes, of course. TikTok has a glorious future and will evolve in the coming years. Well, at the beginning of New Year, that's 2023, the rating charts for various applications were listed. And as usual, TikTok topped them all. This video-based short-form content sharing platform tops both iOS and Google Play stores. For any application, what determines its impact is the number of times the app is downloaded. It's the crudest metric for capturing an app's popularity, and by all means, TikTok has retained its dominance. One simple reason for this ever-increasing popularity of TikTok is that it's increasingly becoming a special place where new trends originate, pop stars get minted, and youth spends a fair share of their time. On New Year's Eve, while teenagers based out of the U.S. were spending their winter break installing TikTok on their brand new iPhones, their government took a few harder decisions. Government officials in the states were reportedly planning a movement to ban TikTok. It all began with Republican state governors and filtered across to Congress. Right now, TikTok is an app that is forbidden from being installed on devices owned by the federal government. It seems like a trade war is currently going on with China. In one of the rarest occurrences, both Republicans and Democrats found bipartisan agreement on this rare tech issue with ByteDance or TikTok. The $1.7 trillion spending bill that President Biden signed into law on Thursday contained a provision banning TikTok from devices under federal management. It is also banned in the House of Representatives and the Senate, reported Verge. In that respect, the story of TikTok's future is familiar to anybody who has followed the past half-decade of U.S. tech regulation. Lawmakers hold hearings and draft rules, but succumb at the end into infighting and paralysis. The only changes we ultimately see come from European regulation or competitive pressures from rivals. Since Joe Biden took charge, TikTok has been striving hard to strike a deal with the Council on Foreign Investment. This would let ByteDance continue owning the company, thereby putting TikTok's users' data, recommendation algorithms, and corporate governance into quarantine. At such a fraught time, ByteDance cannot afford a high-profile mistake, and yet an internal investigation found that ByteDance employees use TikTok to record journalists' physical locations and track their IP addresses. However, this was part of a leak investigation that indicated how ByteDance attempted to discover reporter sources, particularly sources for Forbes' Emily Baker White. If this continues, TikTok might be completely wiped out from the social media landscape in the U.S. ByteDance tweeted after this incident, TikTok has never been used to target any members of the U.S. government, activists, public figures, or journalists. However, recording reporters' physical locations to out their sources certainly qualifies as targeting, and TikTok is facing severe backlash. Therefore, it's extremely difficult to predict the future of the application. However, I genuinely wish that it should be a fair and just evaluation. TikTok is a mixed bundle where the content is both educational and entertaining, yet slightly quirky. Yet, on a serious note, It's needed with stricter policies so that no bullying occurs. Rest. To be or not to be is for the policymakers to decide. TikTok surely messes up with the mental health of users. It adds to anxiety and causes depression to set in deeper. Users of TikTok are quite prone to bullying as well. Yet the application can be a boon for many during their solitude. It might help one feel they belong somewhere, even if it is to their followers or virtual acquaintances only. But as we all know, belongingness is an essential need of human beings. We all need to belong to someone or somewhere. And accountability follows once we feel belonging. We feel we have accountability toward our family, friends, pets, and children, if applicable. And in the case of social media, influencers essentially feel accountable to their followers. It is those followers for whom influencers need to post facts that can be validated if needed. With that said and done, taking into cognizance the widespread popularity of TikTok, we may infer that the application is here to stay and will flourish hereon.